where are we? Hello everyone and welcome to Enlightened Conversations. My name is Raul and I am here with my beautiful friend, psychic medium, 6th generation psychic medium, award-winning professional psychic to the world and the multiverse, Jacquelene Close Moore. Welcome, Jacquelene.
Hello, Raul, and hello, everybody, and thank you for having me join you here on the wonderful Benelong Point.
Oh, beautiful Benelong Point here, and I'm not sure whether you can all see. I'm trying to adjust the camera there. Behind the branch there, we've got the beautiful Sydney Opera House.
Opera House, there it is. It's there, it's behind you.
It's behind me. Come here. Come this way.
I'm coming this way.
Okay, so behind me there you can actually see the Sydney Opera House. There you have it. Okay, thank you so much. And as we did on your show, we're going to do it as well in this show. We would like to pay our respects to the original landowners of this country and Point Benelong. We're a joint country, and we are really touched that we've been welcomed by this wonderful environment, this wonderful energy here all around us, and having the beautiful building that rose from Benelong Point, the gorgeous Opera House that you can actually see there.
It's gorgeous.
Jacquelene, talking about the original landowners, yes? And it's something that sometimes we don't pay much attention. We move around the world and we don't realize that there were people in this place living way before you and I showed up.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it carries such an amount of respect, in my view, and such an amount of acknowledging the centuries, the thousands of years where these original landowners, the Aboriginal people in Australia have actually lived for. And sure, we created a society that perhaps is totally different to the one that they were living in. But I think that it comes to a point where we actually need to merge.
Yeah.
But in order to merge, we need to acknowledge the history behind us. And it's
I
something...
think also the present, like what's happening in the present, particularly because, there's no pride in genocide, and I have issue with various things that go on that are very jingoistic that we're not allowed to forget.
Yes.
But when it comes to Indigenous people raising issues, they're told to forget it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, get over it. And it's like, no, this hasn't been resolved. I don't feel at peace being in this country as it stands without that resolved.
To me, in order to resolve it, is acknowledging the history. We don't even teach proper history in Australia to school kids.
It's whitewashed.
So it's acknowledging, hi Michelle, it's acknowledging the history that came before us.
Yeah.
Because I always carry the motto of my university really close to my heart, and it's, I shall grow in the esteem of future generations. And to grow in the esteem of future generations, we need to acknowledge the generations that came before us.
Yeah.
And to acknowledge the history. If we're sitting here in these beautiful botanical gardens, the Aboriginal people were here before us. And I feel the energy because we are sitting on a beautiful blanket, but on the grass, where they walked themselves.
And still walk today.
And why is it that we cannot acknowledge that history? Why do we have a problem?
Well, if you look at the Constitution of Australia, which technically we could get in a very long argument about the legality of that, but if you look at the Constitution of Australia and how that was originally set up, it's not until 1967 that Indigenous people are actually even recognised as human beings and as free people and as people who can buy land. Yet this is their land, and so there's a great inequality that's still there. If you look at the fact that they were once counted as fauna. And they had their children ripped away from them, yet because you can't parent them, but yet hey, look after our kids, but for free. We're not going to pay you. It's a whole programming that's going on And it's not just in Australia, it's colonialism in many countries.
Oh, it's colonialism around the world, because
Yeah.
don't forget that I was born in South America, but he was first colonized by Cristobal Colon. Hence why we call it colonialism. It came from there. But the idea that you cannot look after your own children, oh my goodness. That idea that we are judging something that we don't know.
Yeah.
Why is it that we are so afraid of something that we are not aware of or that we don't know? Why is it that we're afraid? Instead of being afraid, why don't we stop and chat with one of them
Seek to understand.
and find out
Humanise.
what makes them who they are today? Where do they came from? There are so many languages around Australia. When you have a look at the map of Australia, divided by the different Aboriginal people, the different countries and people, languages that they speak. And here we are, we talk English, and I'm one of the fortunate ones that I speak two other languages, French and Spanish, but these people are able to communicate from the top of Australia all the way down to with each other.
Incredibly advanced people are First Nations people, and I can't speak for them.
No,
I would never
we don't
dare do
know.
that. But the thing is that, and I do have a lot of Indigenous people as very good friends. So hello to all of my sisters and brothers of First Nations. So I hope not to cause offence. But it's you look at the incredible advancement when it comes to the beautiful art, and that you look at the topographical pictures of landscapes that are drawn from above, that were drawn long before helicopters. Hello, I think there's intelligence, and then there's intelligence, and there's different kinds of intelligence, and I think that 80,000 years of continuous connection that we know about. It's a lot longer than that. You would have to think. So, there is a lot to learn if we stop and listen.
Yeah.
And I think what white people really have to do is do what you say, listen. And the more we humanise each other, the more we do understand. And it's even like myself as, a practising shamanic practitioner, people seek to ridicule what they don't understand. They
Correct.
ridicule, they fear, and what do you do after that? You've dehumanised the person, and this is where you can head down that pathway towards atrocity, because you shift enough people in society towards that dehumanisation and, let's reclaim Australia and stuff like that, mate. Red, white, and blue. Don't wear a headscarf unless it's an Australian flag and you're protesting something you don't understand.
Correct.
Don't go wearing hijabs, but you can wear a flag and be a bloke.
Yeah.
Just wear it as a headdress, it'll be fine. That's kind of frightening stuff, and we're seeing that around the world, this swing to the hard right, that is largely being, really sprinked by the media. It's fanned the flames, and this false equivalency of we have to give balanced reporting, the left and the right, but that's okay if it was the left and the right, but what if it's the left and the right, the hard right, which is a very frightening place to be, because you only have to get 20% of the population to agree with that, and you can swing the whole thing.
Yes.
And, this is where people who don't understand a culture, history repeating,
Yes.
come in and want to make someone the other
Yes.
and then persecute them. It's a sort of a cyclical thing through history. Like, you look at the witches.
Yes.
You look at all these women and
Joan of Arc.
Hello, I hear voices too. I don't wear battle armour and shields, but it's been a while. Last lifetime maybe a bit of sword, but in this lifetime it's like, oh, really again?
Correct.
Do we have to do this again? See, white spiritual women have the witch wound. White spiritual women have the witch wound, but what about people of colour? And the different cultures that we have. But yeah, there's a lot that Indigenous people can teach us.
Yes.
But there's also a lot of a need for us not to require them to teach us in the sense of simply listen, ask what they want. Don't expect them to have the answers for you necessarily, because maybe the burden's not on them.
No, but don't expect them to have the answers that you're looking for. Expect them to have an answer. It may not be what you want to hear, but it may be the answer that you need to hear.
My Indigenous friends have a funny philosophy. It's a really cool one. If they think you're being, smart, good, all this sort of thing, yep, lots of communication. Think you're being a dickhead, usually they're just gonna, they're gone, in nothing. So I kind of like that, because the thing is, let's spend our time together celebrating each other rather than going, that other person, blah, 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 blah. It's, hey, how you doing? Certainly in my experience, and there's lots of experiences, so once again, I don't want to speak for people here.
I just want to acknowledge at this point in time that there are people out there doing the right thing and trying to actually get the younger generation involved in getting to know the people of our First Nation. And I'm not going to mention the name, but there's a ladies' college in Melbourne that a friend of mine actually works for. And every year they take a group of year 12 girls in what they call themselves an immersion.
Yeah,
and they go to Central Australia, yes, to Uluru, and they live with an Aboriginal community for 1 month.
Yep.
So that's truly a full immersion, and they go with teachers that they haven't done it before, and they live in the community. They will wear the same things as they wear, they will eat the same things as they'll eat, they will practice the same rituals. And it's something quite unbelievable. And this friend of mine, teacher, she has also taken twice on another immersion to the other side of the world, to Kenya, to do the same. And these girls are walking out into the Australian society as we know it, with a new breadth of understanding of who they are as individuals, how do they fit in this part of the world that is so big, but also how do they fit in the universe? How do they came to be here, but understanding where they truly came from? But although your ancestors may be from the Northern Hemisphere and my ancestors from the Southern Hemisphere, we all came from one.
Yeah, that's right.
And at the end of the day, that one that I'm talking about is that we all came from source.
Yeah.
And we tend to look at the way that we do things, the way that we behave in society, the color of the skin. It's all like, my goodness, 2018 and we're still discussing this.
I know, right?
So which century do we need to come up to?
I'm waiting. I'm sort of feeling like I'm way out of time here. I'm like, 1,000 years, oh boy.
Yeah.
Really, we're still here. Oh boy. Should I go back now?
Well, the issue is that I just feel like when it's time for us to ascend, I'm not certain whether we're not going to come back in another 1,000 years to see whether we have evolved or whether we have to learn new things or teach new things.
I'm thinking of coming back as red fungi with white spots.
Touch me and have a look at what happens.
Yeah, because I think that could be less complicated, but maybe not, because I do like a challenge.
There's a little message here. I'm going to try and scroll to read it. Michelle Lightworker is saying yes. And Lana Marconi, Newfield Morianda, focuses on how powerful the indigenous culture actually has connected us. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's the YouTube video.
I think the
that
more
you can
of
watch.
those sorts of films, the better.
Yeah.
The more of the discussion happening, the better. And the thing is that we're not always going to get it right, but if we're trying, that's the start.
But you know what, Jacqueline, it's not about getting it right. It's about learning to live with one another.
Exactly.
And learning to live with one another, it's not about getting it right. It's about, okay, you understand me and I understand you, and we can actually live in this part
harmony
of the world in harmony. I may not agree.
That's what I mean by getting it right, though.
Yeah.
I'm simplifying my words.
Yeah. I'm not trying to convince you to believe in what I believe, and you're not trying to convince me, but we understand one another. Yeah. And if you decide to wear this scarf here around your neck or on your head, good luck to you.
That's it. It can be that simple.
But why do we make it that complex? And when I look at it and when I sit and analyze it, it's because we're after power.
A lot of people are. And actually it's interesting because on the train here this morning, Jessie and I were talking about, she said, why do people want power? Why do people want to be the president? And I'm like, well,
Yeah, but many of them want to be the president, not understanding
What
the
it's about.
machine that is behind that
that's
office.
right.
And when they get there, they think, "Oh shit! I didn't realize that it was.
Like
I'm gonna
this.
be a puppet, and somebody else is gonna be pulling the strings." It happened to our. You may not consider, but I do consider her our esteemed first female prime minister,
Yeah.
Julia Gillard. She had all the good intentions and rose up, and suddenly, oh shit! I'm a puppet to a system. And there's not many things that you can actually do. Why do they want the power? Sometimes people, altruistically, they think, yes, one can actually change the world. And true, you can. By doing good things, you can actually, it's the butterfly effect. Yes?
Yeah.
You can actually make a change. But when you rise up to that top, I don't know, it's like being the Pope. Do you want that job?
No.
Thank you.
No. I don't think they'd have me.
No, me neither.
No.
I'm an abomination to the earth,
So am I,
according to them.
apparently.
According
we
to
can be
them.
abominations together.
We are. We are. I'm proud of that.
I'm proud of that too.
Yeah. But it's that idea that, I don't know, what do we want power? And I guess that is the way that this society as we know it is being created, yes?
Yeah.
Because if you have a look at it, society as we know it is hierarchical.
Yep. I love the communes they create where they're going to have no hierarchy. And of course, then there's the group leader, look at that term, saying, now this is how we're going to do it. It's the rules. And it's like, okay. Yep.
So I changed city life for a commune
Yeah.
and somebody that became self-appointed president, not even elected.
Not even elected. And here are the rules. And if you don't live by those, you're out. And it's like, there's that game again.
Let's keep living in the society that we know then.
Yes, let's keep living. And let's not go to other planets where we could ruin their place.
And that's what I keep on saying to people. Don't think that by moving countries, by living in other countries around the world, the situation is going to become different. People, believe me, I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt. You're only changing geography.
Yeah. And possibly a language.
And the language, not an issue. But the rest is following you. If you want power, that power you want to want it in a little country or in a big country. So
It's like the hermit card. It's like, do not lead for I will not follow. Do not follow for I shall not lead. Walk beside me. In fact, no, don't walk beside me. The path is narrow. Get away. Leave me alone. I've been peopled out today.
yeah, living in unity and getting it right. Yeah,
Yes.
living in unity and getting it right.
With a big stick.
And I know, Michelle, that you are now transforming Lightwork Advocate magazine, getting into the 21st century, being a video magazine where you can watch a video, you can read an article, and the video is related to the article. And you're making the change, and you're putting yourself out there to create this platform that you created. And I know that Enlightened Conversations is coming to an end in August, and this is going to be the last time that Jacquelene and I are going to be together. I still have one more show tomorrow. But it's about evolution through love, what I call it. And love, regardless of the circumstances that we find ourselves in, not to conform. Sure, you and I live in society. We cannot run around here naked. Well, yes, you can, but probably will be arrested.
Probably will frighten a few people too. I know
Including ourselves.
Yeah.
However, you can still live in society and be who you really want to be and make the changes that you want to make a change. And I keep on going back to the simple act of kindness.
Yeah.
Be nice to somebody, offer them a smile. I walk down the street nowadays and not many people are willing to actually look at you.
Yeah.
And particularly me, a single male down the street. You see a single female and she looks down on the ground.
Yep.
And I just think, how sad is that? I am not going to touch you. I am not going to do anything untoward to you. But we live in a society that if you smile, someone may take it as an invitation for someone else. I am not looking for that. I am looking for only a smile. us taking pictures of the cover page. And although they are not part of our picture, we're still connected to them. They exist in the same environment. And that's something that the wind is up. And the wind is up because the wind is actually saying, yeah, there's a wind of change coming.
That's big time.
There's a lot of clearing that needs to take place. We need to, the wind is picking up because you know what? Offer it to the wind and let it go. Let it just be. And you will see that, soon enough, it quiets down. It takes it away and you can continue in your divine life pathway. I'm not here to change everybody's minds, but I'm here to say, let's have a look at where we live in. It's so beautiful, and it was so beautiful before, and there were people that existed before we were born, and why not acknowledge?
Yeah.
And I'm guilty of not knowing enough about their history, but there's nothing stopping me from learning, and from getting out there and talking to them, and from not crossing the street because they're coming towards you.
Yeah.
Why? Because they look different? So do I. They're not crossing the street because I look different. With that in mind, people, we're going to leave you here with this enlightened conversation about unity, about taking care of one another, and about, you know what, offering each other the simple gesture of a smile. So from Jacquelene Close Moore and I, thank you so much for joining us here today in this beautiful Point Benelong with the beautiful old trees surrounding us, the Opera House behind us, and until we'll see you next time, may all of your dreams come true but one, so you will always have something beautiful to look forward to. Jacquelene, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raul, and thank you also to everyone on Lightworker and also everyone watching. Bye.
I would like to give a shout out to my sponsors before I forget. Lightworker Foundation and White Light Publishing House for making this possible. Thank you. Much love.